Hi, everyone. Let's get started. Thank you for coming. I love a full house in the moot courtroom. And who else is going to fill a house but Steve Madden? Thank you, thank you. So anyway, my name is Barbara Colson. For those of you who don't know me, nearly 10 years ago, with the support of our dean, Melanie Leslie, we at Cardozo formed the FAME Center, Fashion, Arts, Media, and Entertainment. And after several decades as a lawyer in the fashion world, I became the first director of FAME, a great way to park your place, at the end of your life. FAME provides training and development opportunities related to the representation of businesses driven by the creative process, from Fortune 500 companies to startups. And we offer coursework, like the course I teach in fashion law, externships, clinics, symposia, and programs featuring industry leaders like Steve Madden, who we are honored to have returned to Cardozo for the second time. And required watching from my students is the documentary about Steve's career and life, Madman, which I would highly recommend to all of you. Our alumni work in all the major fashion companies, including Chanel and Ralph Lauren, and our own Ebony Lamont here tonight from Steve Madden. Ebony, where are you? She started out as an intern at Steve Madden, and now she's a lawyer there. Our alum regularly make Billboard's list of top music lawyers and work in all major motion picture studios, streaming services in the art world, and for various sports leagues. And we've got board members. I think Dave Zimmerman might be here tonight from the National Hockey League. FAME hosts weekly programs like tonight's, and we hope you'll join our mailing list if you enjoy this program. And our programs are free, and many offer CLE credits. I want to thank you to our co-presidents of our Student Fashion Law Society, Alyssa Donovan and Cassidy Moon. You guys raise your hands. To Ann Rodman, the administrator of our IP program, including FAME, who makes all of these programs a reality. Ann, there you are. And to the Madden team, and there's so many of you, but I want to call out Chad Evans, Raquel Perez, and thank you for copies of Steve's book, which I hope you picked up on your way in. Steve will be in conversation tonight with Lisa Keith, who, although she graduated from NYU, is really an honorary Cardozo alum. She is so kind to us. Besides hiring Ebony and other Cardozo lawyers in the past, she also has interns, and one of my students is interning with her this semester and is happy as can be. Lisa is the Executive VP and General Counsel of Steve Madden since 2017, and she oversees all legal matters for Madden and its portfolio of brands, including Betsy Johnson, Dolce Vita, BB Dakota, and Almost Famous. Prior to joining Steve Madden, she worked at Davis Wright and Tremaine, and began her legal career at Gibson, Dunn and Crutcher, where she practiced in all things, everything. That's Lisa's story. Lisa will introduce Steve, and we will show a little clip before we bring Steve on, right? Yes. Okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. Thanks to Barbara. She's an incredible mentor and person who's done so much for me and so many other people, and we love her. I still remember the first time that I went to the newly opened Nordstrom in Roosevelt Field Mall. I was a teenager in the 90s with an unusually small foot and an equally small budget. As I walked through the main entrance, my first sight was the shoe department and a table with an instantly recognizable brand, Steve Madden. I bought some penny loafers, some Bobby sneakers, and a pair of Slinkies, and I felt like $1,000,000. This is the essence of Steve Madden, the democratization of fashion for young people. When I went to law school, I had no idea where my career would take me. I worked at 2 law firms, white shoe environments with long hours that had to be tracked in increments of 6 minutes. The opportunity to work at Steve Madden was truly life-changing and career-defining. Here, I found a place where I could finally be my authentic self and an opportunity to work with a person I had long admired. From my very first day, Steve encouraged me and respected my opinions. While we may not always agree, I can always count on Steve for a spirited debate and a new way of thinking about business. He is endlessly entertaining, and I have learned so much from him in the over 6 years I have worked at his namesake company. I hope that today you can all experience what I get to experience on a regular basis. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Steve, but first we're going to show a little clip from a documentary that was made about Steve a few years ago. Or not. I'm getting this. So.
An inmate at Coleman Correctional Facility.
This is Steve Madden.
So tell me what you know about Steve Madden, the actual guy.
Shoes.
The shoe guy.
Those funny fashion ads of the big heads and the big shoes.
He was in that movie, Wolf of Wall Street.
Steve Madden.
Let's start.
To my family, being creative was being able to fix the television. So in an effort to straighten me out, my dad said I had to go to work. So I got a job in a shoe store. This is where I learned the shoe business. I used to work here. Girl would come in and you were part of designing their lifestyle and their wardrobe. This is cute too for her. And I got obsessed with shoes. I quit one day, put $1,100 in the bank, and went to work in my own business. I knew that I had to come up with a hit. Made a shoe that was for a market that wasn't being served. We called it the Mary Lou. It was truly young fashion. Got this call from my childhood pal. Danny said, we're looking for companies to raise money for. He said he's got this genius behind his company named Jordan.
Jordan Belfort.
Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street.
He'll raise you the money you need to build a business. I became part of the scheme because I didn't care about anything but building the business.
And then the whole thing came crashing down.
And there was nothing I could do at that point. It's some sort of neurotic drive.
Here's what we're doing.
My work and my life are one. You can't separate them. It was an older industry. We disrupted it. My greatest fear was going to prison.
The ball dropped, the world stopped.
You can't run a business from prison.
Mackerel was the currency.
Mackerel, fish, that was the currency. I became the mackerel king.
He wasn't like a weekend warrior.
He'd be face down a lot of places.
He was a full-time barbarian.
That's the guy I want to hang out with.
Oy, oy, oy.
Our sales started plummeting.
It was worse than I thought.
You blindsided us.
When it all costs, there are costs. I'm completely insane.
Things in New York are so. And Marna, you know, because she drinks a very fancy tequila. It's a lot of money. Okay. Okay.
Mike, thanks for doing this, Steve.
All right. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay.
So Steve, thank you so much. I know everyone at Cardozo is so excited to see you. Let's jump right into it.
Jump right
We don't
into
have a
it.
lot of time.
We don't have a lot of time.
All right. So can you tell us a bit about the origin of Steve Madden, the brand and the person?
The origin of me. Well, the brand, I worked for a shoe company in the 80s. And then I decided to go into my own business. I was 31 and frustrated creatively, and I always wanted to kind of be in my own business, and so I just went and started.
Did it. So I hope everybody has read Steve's book, and if you haven't, you should. You all got a copy tonight, but I've read it a lot of times, and there's a lot of messages in it that I think really stick with me. And so I wanted to go through some of the things that I view as sort of your ethos and see if you could speak about them a bit. So one thing I talked about in my intro, I don't know if you could hear it or not out there.
Is my shirt okay?
Yeah, you look good. You look good.
I should sit. No, it's a little short, this shirt. I don't want my stomach to show.
I'll be on
So
the lookout.
I'm going to sit on the back.
It's an awkward chair, right?
But they did
Yeah.
that in a broadcast news. The guy would sit on his shirt.
That's smart, actually.
Yeah,
I
okay.
like that. But now
Yes.
crop tops are in. You can't do that.
Yes.
Okay. So
Do that.
one thing that has stuck with me is I think that our brand is very much about the democratization of fashion and bringing fashion to everybody. So can you tell us sort of why that's important to you and if that's a value that you've sort of always had about bringing fashion to the masses?
Yes. Well, mostly I'm interested in making as much money as I can. So that would be one reason to do that. You know, most people say they're not interested in money. They're lying.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
Well, once you have money, you say it's not about the money.
Correct.
It's not
You can
about
only
the
say
money.
that when you have it.
It's not about the money.
Right.
I don't really care. People do that. You know, I don't really care about money. You know, we have a saying, it's not about the money, it's about the money. But what I don't remember
Well,
what
the
the
question
question
is,
was.
yeah. Okay,
Yes.
let's move on to the
No,
next one.
No,
We've
no,
got a
go.
lot.
I like that.
No,
Go.
okay, you like so.
No, the democratization.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, fashion for everybody.
So my, you know, I've always been in sort of a popular priced, you know, I don't know if popular price, but I always like to
that?
make shoes, you know, around $100.
that people can afford.
Yeah, I don't know what $100 means today versus, you know, 30 years ago, but I always made shoes around $100. I just picked that number.
So we're
And-
inflation proof.
Yes, yes, we actually are. Well, interesting. That's an interesting point that you brought up because the shoe business was very deflationary because what happened was people moved to China mostly in the 90s.
Right.
And so the prices came down. But, you know, I just, I don't really understand super expensive shoes.
Right.
And, you know, it's a whole other skill set. And I like seeing a lot of people wear my shoes. Having said that, I went to buy a Birkin bag at Hermes, and I was really floored that you can't get them. And they're like $1 zillion.
Right,
Where are
right.
these people? It blew my mind. Here I am, I'm struggling to sell $90 shoes. And so I went to buy a Birkin bag. You know, it was a birthday gift for somebody. And
Not me.
Not you. And I couldn't believe it. I didn't know. You know, I should know this stuff, but I did. They put you on a wish list. And they wink and like, you're never getting this bag.
You know,
It's not
Steve, we
a-
might be able to help you because one of our former interns is a Cardozo alum, and his mother works at Hermes.
Yeah, well, we need all. Yeah.
So we could probably hook you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it.
We could help you out. I'll talk.
So
to you.
it's so interesting. You know, this is a deeper conversation for economics
Scarcity.
college. We'd have to go to Wharton.
Absolutely. That's not
But-
either one of us.
Right. But
Right.
Anyway, I like to sell lots of shoes.
We're the anti-Birkin.
Anti-Birkin, although it's interesting to me, you know, why Birkins are so you know, that's interesting to me. Like, how did that happen? Or why is, you know, you could say, you know, why are the Beatles so popular? Or why is Taylor Swift so popular? Like, what is it in the universe that creates that?
Right.
And I find that so interesting.
Well, that's what you're chasing, right? That it
Right,
factor.
Like hit records, like a hit, you know, pop song, or you know, why does that happen?
What resonates?
You know, what is that? What is it in the universe that creates that? I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, well, if we could figure
And-
that out, everybody could make a lot of money, right?
Yes, yes. But the Birkins are, you know, it's 60 years old.
Right.
You know, it's not
not new.
anything new.
Right, and yet
Yeah.
it continues to have
In
that.
fact, I think she
feel.
just died. The
Yes,
woman.
the woman did.
Jane
Yes,
Birkin,
she
was that
did,
her
the
name?
model.
Yes.
Yep, she just died.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well,
I wonder if she had any Birkin bags.
I think she had a few. I think she was able to get them.
Yes.
You know, she
You
was
think
on the
Jane
wish
Birkin
list.
had a Birkin bag?
She was high up on the wish
Yes.
list. Yeah.
I wonder
She
if
walked
she
in
did.
and, you know, she got
Yes.
the bag. Yeah. Some people. Like you could probably get a
Yes.
pair of Steve Maddens, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
That's true. Okay.
All right. So another motto that you have throughout your book, and something that I personally love and have to remind myself a lot, is that you say progress, not perfection. So can you explain what that means to you and how that
very
impacts
important.
your day-to-day?
So I think, you know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and it's not really a wonderful trait, to be honest. It sounds so great. Oh, I'm a perfectionist, you know, like, you know. But it really, nobody's perfect.
Right.
So it stops you from really moving on. Oh, it's not perfect, so I won't do it. Oh, that's just not there yet. No, you have to keep, you know, putting one foot in front of the other, and I believe progress, you know, just keep doing better. It's never going to be perfect.
And does that impact how you approach mistakes?
I do. It's a philosophy of mine. I like to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Keep
All right.
showing up.
We like that one.
Yes.
Another
I do.
one is better to ask forgiveness, not permission.
Oh God, that's so silly.
Yeah, not into
So
that
what-
one
okay,
anymore.
So I say it's easier to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission.
And
Easier, but not better.
it's easier and better.
And better.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But think about that.
Okay, I love this one, and I think it's so true of our companies. So you say think big and small.
Well, yes. I think all it's an entrepreneurial thing, thinking big and thinking small. I think a lot of executives
Come into companies.
and they're only thinking big, which is a sure recipe for failure.
You know, because everything is important. You know, the whole thing. It's a whole.
You know.
So what's an example of like a small thing?
Well, I used to overdo
Yeah.
it a little bit,
Yeah.
and I used to like yell at the caterer if the cookies didn't taste
yes.
good. I would go
Crazy, like, you know, and I would like. These chocolate chip cookies taste like medicine.
you can't have that. So I would be a little bit in the weeds.
Too much.
Yes.
And do you think as you've kind of been at the company a longer time, you've learned to let certain things go?
I think the best executives return all their calls, return all their texts, return all their emails. Say hi to people in the hallway that work for them. And I think it's important.
I think
really
that's an
do.
important lesson at any level.
Yes,
you
I
know?
think so.
I think that's really
Absolutely.
important. But
Yeah.
it's hard. You know. Now I don't know everybody in the company, so.
I know, I'm
I'm
working
not
on that.
sh-
I'm trying to
I'm
get
not-
us like a
yeah,
book with
Well, as you
pictures.
get bigger, it gets harder.
Yeah,
to
it's
do
hard.
that.
No, it's hard.
Yes.
So how do you try to keep your pulse on everything that's going on in the company as it's gotten bigger and you don't know everybody?
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to trust people that you work with.
So this is not what you're asking me, but I'm going to take
That's
it
okay.
in.
You can say
I'm gonna
whatever you
take it
want.
in a
It's your
different.
thing.
I'm going to take it in a different
Yep.
direction.
Okay.
So for me, an interesting question would be, how do you stay current at this advanced age?
I'm not asking that.
You know, no, I mean, but it's really true. Like, because, you know, I don't take ecstasy. I don't. I mean, I haven't. But I don't go to clubs. You know, and I don't
Really listen to Travis Scott.
and
Although I do hear it in the car with my children. So how does one stay, you know, sort of on the pulse? You know, that's
an interesting question. It's sort of what you asked, but
Yeah. So how do you?
so you just have to have good people that you work with.
you have to have people that in my case, younger and cooler, that you
Collaborate with, and that you know, if they say, oh, well, Jacob Elordi he's the next big, you know, oh, Jacob Elordi.
You have to know who he
you
is.
Yeah, you have to know who Jacob Elordi is, right? I mean, you really,
Right.
if you're in the
young men's or women's business, but I wouldn't really know unless someone told me, right?
although I did watch Saltburn.
Yeah. How was it? I
I
haven't.
immediately did. And, you know, it was good. It was good.
It was good.
I liked it. It was sort of odd.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
But, you know, it's that kind of thing. Those are little bits in the zeitgeist that one must.
I feel like you should know, but it's harder.
It's
you
very
know?
hard. Well, there's so much content all the time. It's hard to keep up with.
No, it's hard for me because I'm so old.
And so, you know, you know, one's lifestyle, you know, that's the big thing. You know, when you're
30, you're not doing what you're doing at 65.
Right.
Right?
Right.
so, you know, I'm not going to meet a lot of Jacob Elordi fans on the golf course.
No. I wouldn't
You know what I
think so.
mean? So,
Right.
But you have to kind of.
Yeah. Well, it helps to have kids. Right?
yes, it helps to have kids. I've got a lot of kids. So.
Yeah, yep. So they touched on this a little bit in the clip we saw from the documentary, but this is something that has resonated with me. So I think when you go to law school, a lot of times, you know, you think of yourself as a very academic person, and whatever talents you might have had in the past, whether it be music or art, you sort of leave those behind to go to law school. But Steve always says that everyone can be creative. And I really like that because I think that, I like to think of myself as a creative person, although I don't necessarily do a creative job.
I think you're creative.
Thank you, Steve. And,
No, I do mean that. And also not only creative, but everybody, like I think, people can be entrepreneurial even though it's not about, maybe it won't be about money.
Right.
And maybe it's a loose use of the word.
It is. Well, because you always say, you thought of creative as a kid as someone who drew pictures or played an instrument, but you were creative in a different way. And I think that that's something that people don't think about, is you don't have to be traditionally artistic to be creative.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you feel that, you exhibit your creativity, and do you have any words of wisdom for this crowd of lawyers?
Well, it is, I have to think about what you're saying, but I want to be creative right now. I think my God, a lawyer, could be so creative. I mean, unbelievable.
In the way they solve problems.
Yes.
Right.
Litigators can be. I've seen the most creative litigators, and of course defense lawyers, can be unbelievable in the way they, the way they defend, and I've even seen divorce lawyers being creative. I actually witnessed that.
Hopefully it worked out for you.
It did. Very creative. No, but you could be creative in anything, right?
Yes.
You could be a creative fireman,
Yes.
you do things differently, or a creative soldier.
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah.
Everyone can be
So
creative.
I really actually really believe that. Yes.
So in law school, we're sort of taught the law. We have our exams and we answer our questions. But in real life, it's not yeses or nos. There's a lot of gray areas. So what do you think makes someone a good business lawyer?
Okay. A good business lawyer. I think, well, to be grounded in the realities,
reality,
and
absolutely.
not have these fantastical sort of thoughts, about the way things should be, and to be grounded in reality. But I want to give a better example.
Yeah,
of
well,
that.
you want to really try to, I think what we try to do in our department is we try to not just say yes or no.
Well, a good example of that would be, have you ever been to an arbitration?
Yes.
They're so interesting.
Unfortunately.
No, they're really interesting.
Yeah.
And that's a good example. I know you guys know about arbitrations. I don't know what year you're in or whatever that. So it was fascinating. I went to one, and so if somebody says, "I'll give you $300,000," and you can't come back and say, "I don't want $300,000. I want $30 million."
Right.
See,
So
that's
nowhere. Yeah.
That's death. So the skill of the arbitrator is to keep it not insulting and keep it real. And I was always very impressed.
The arbitrator is a fascinating job.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
I was
think
very impressed.
I don't know if enough people really think about alternative dispute resolution.
Yes,
but
it's very good.
It's a very interesting area because you kind of get to do a little role playing. You go into room A and you say their case, is really good, and you better offer a lot of money because they're going to win in trial. And then you go into the other room and you say the exact opposite thing.
Right.
And you get each side to kind of think that they suck.
Yes, but it's grounded in reality. Though.
Yes, but it has to be grounded in reality a little bit because otherwise the person would think you have no credibility. But I think a lot of times, things get done kind of outside of the arbitration room. Like the couple arbitrations that I've resolved for our company, a lot of the times I've been able to do it is I make a friend on the out, so we had a big one and I went out into the room and it turns out the guy went to the same college as me. And we start talking about that and all of a sudden, they like you, and now the number drops from here to here to here. So I think a lot of it is really not even about the law. It's about the relationships you can build.
What is the most popular sort of law
Class?
expertise that people want to be? What would you say?
I find here in the FAME program, everyone's interested in intellectual property law. Everyone's nodding, which is, we do a lot of that.
Intellectual.
Steve Madden. That's our.
How many people want to be defense attorneys? Wow, that's the big bucks, though, isn't it? The big dough.
Honestly, the big bucks come from places you wouldn't expect.
Yes.
We have a lot of lawsuits about our website not being accessible to the blind, let's say. And those guys are just making
could
a
that be?
ton of money. Like if you really want to make money, like go be a plaintiff's lawyer. And
How
go find-
dare we do that?
Yeah, we fixed it.
We have to get on
actually.
that right
It's very
away.
no, it is. It's fixed. It's all remediated. So any of you lawyers in here, don't look at our website.
That seems
'cause
silly.
It's good. It's good. Anyone can go to it. Democratization of fashion.
No, but what,
Yeah. But anyway, it's not necessarily the areas you would think
Yes.
that you that
We
you
have to
make
be careful
the
about
big
that.
money, you know.
Yeah.
And you're better off picking something you find interesting and feel good about every day. That's what I say.
so what is the what would you say?
Intellectual
how
property
many
is a
people are going
biggie.
into intellectual property?
Okay, yeah, we got a lot of IP
people,
law
yeah.
here.
And what about what else?
I'm a big advocate of labor and employment law. I don't know if anybody's
That's a
interested in
big
that.
one,
That's
yes.
very
How many?
important. Yeah, anybody? Okay, good.
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
What about matrimony? I'm interested in that.
Yeah, no one else.
Nobody's
can see it.
into divorce. Nobody?
I think less people are getting married.
Yes. Okay.
There we go. Yay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a good divorce attorney that is worth his weight in something. Yes. No, it's actually a good skill. You know, like to hear so many terrible stories, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a great, by the way, I had a great criminal attorney.
I was going to wait for that topic. But you want to
I
go
want
there?
to share.
We'll go there.
He
Okay.
was so creative. He was so awesome. He's passed away. His name was Joel Winograd, and he was such a great guy. And he would be like, you know, like so bombastic in front of the judge. Your Honor, my client is such a good man. You know, he'd do that whole number. And he was an attorney he mostly was a mafia attorney.
Okay.
Yes, and I must have caught him on an off week.
Did you meet? Did he
He
introduce you to any
did.
of his clients?
Whenever there was like a big, sweep of like a big sweep.
He was there.
He would all of a sudden he'd be busy. He wouldn't take it. And
Yeah.
so many people in his office. But he was such a great guy. There was another guy that I went. There's a restaurant called Rayo's.
Yep.
Up in East Harlem, and there's an attorney that goes there, and his name is Murray, and his card says, "Don't worry, Murray." That's his nickname. He's a defense attorney. Don't worry, Murray. So
Something to learn from that.
yeah, and he
you
goes
know?
to Rayo's.
Yeah, go to Rayos with your card. You can have
Yeah.
a whole mafia business.
It keeps picking up.
You know, it's always going to be
clients.
something. Yeah.
It's such a great thing you guys are doing. It's a wonderful, to be so focused on. I didn't finish college, sadly. I went to work in a shoe store. And, I wish I'm so envious of all of you. I think it's great.
Well, I'm sure that's encouraging for everybody
Yeah,
here.
no, I do.
Since it's a
I
fortune.
didn't want to. It's better than working in a shoe store.
Yeah.
Yes.
It probably is. What do you guys think? Shoe store, law school?
Yes.
Not sure. Okay, maybe the shoe store.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Barbara. They chose the shoe store. So, all right. I was going to save prison for a little bit later.
You
but
can
we
talk
went
about
there.
anything you want.
So let's,
I don't
let's
care.
go there.
Let it
all right.
rip.
So,
Yes.
one thing that I love about your story
Yes.
is that you actually taught business in
did.
prison. So tell us
Yes.
some of the lessons that you taught your fellow inmates.
Well, the big thing was I was in with mostly drug dealers in the prison that I was in. So I was trying to tell them to use those skills, those same marketing skills, with things that were legal, And that was it. I was trying to tell them that you could, if you were that successful with cocaine, you could perhaps be just as successful with other things. And that's what I tried. I mean, you could use those same talents,
That's a good point.
to do that. And I hope I made a difference.
A skill is a skill.
I hope
right?
I made a difference. I think I did.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you still in touch with a lot of people?
I do. I am in touch with a few people, and some of them work at the company.
See, I think that's something people don't necessarily know about Steve and his company is that he hires inmates.
Some.
And I think some. And
Yeah.
I think it's a really beautiful thing. Do we have any good success stories?
Oh,
of
we have
people? Yeah.
many. I don't want to embarrass anybody,
Yeah.
but we have many great success stories. Great guys who've made a mistake and given another chance.
Turned it around.
Yes.
Yeah, we believe in second chances.
Yes, we do. And speaking of second chances, we just did an ad with Lori Loughlin.
Yeah, I love it. Has anyone seen it? It's adorable.
And
Yeah. And her daughter.
And her daughter is going out with Jacob Elordi. So I just,
Oh my God, you could almost meet him.
I just covered it all. And it was amazing. You know, it was great. And she
It's
was
like 6
great.
degrees of Kevin Bacon. You're like this close to Jacob Elordi.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
trying to meet Jacob. And, but I did, so we did with Olivia. And, you know, and I was trying to get the skinny on it, but
She wouldn't go there.
she wouldn't go there.
All right. She's
'Cause I heard they
discreet.
broke up, and I was,
Did they break up? Anybody know?
no, I think they're back.
They're back? All right, well, we'll see.
See them
We'll
at
keep
the
an eye on
Grammys
it.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
So
anyway,
you
yeah, I
were
was.
in prison for a long time. I mean, almost 4 years is not nothing.
No,
Yeah.
it was two and a half.
2.5?
years,
Yeah, 2.5.
Please don't give me more time.
Okay, yes. Sorry. Okay. 2.5, long time.
What do you got over here? What years?
Like 10 years, you know.
2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yes,
All right.
Felt like 20 years.
Felt like 20.
But I got
So-
in wonderful
It's
shape.
been a long time, obviously, by the way. He was in prison a long time ago. This is not recent. But how did it affect how you ran the business when you came out? What changed for you?
So, first of all, you can't really run a business from prison. I mean, so I really couldn't run the business. So it really was just
Let go.
That was it. I had to let go, and so I would say that for a founder to let go, you know, it's difficult because I was involved in everything and every shoe, but I was forced to have more people and to build a bigger business. And actually, I hate to say it, to sound like this, but it was tremendous for the company that I got locked up because I was.
I'm sure no one felt that way that was
Because, well,
there.
founders tend to mess things up after a while. You know, they sort of get in the way, and you know, because they second guess everything. But we really built a big, deep business and a deep bench, and now it's not all about me. You know, which is great, and because it's, you know, it can't be all about one person. It's too much.
Right. Right.
So, well, at first it's hard to, if you are that person, it's actually difficult to sort of let go because, you know, it's kind of counterintuitive. But actually the rewards are quite big.
And do you think it stuck with you, the changes that
Yeah,
you
I
made?
think I was,
Yeah.
I have so many great people that I work with today because as a result of me having to get help because I was behind bars. You know,
Do you think about it every day?
I dream about it a few nights a week.
Wow.
I do have dreams about it, yeah. And I'm in, and I don't know when I'm getting out. And like, it's just I wake up and I'm so happy when I wake up.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, thank
Yeah,
God.
not
It's
back
just
there.
awful, you know.
Yeah. So you've replaced
So-
like the high school math test dream with the prison dream.
What's that?
The high school math test dream everybody has, or maybe
Yeah,
that's just for nerdy
I have
law
that
students.
too.
Oh, okay. You still have.
I don't have a lot of good dreams.
Okay.
I wish
All
I
right.
did.
Do you dream about shoes?
I do dream about shoes.
you ever have a shoe that came to you in a
I do
dream?
dream about shoes, yeah. The prison dreams are so bad. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
All right, so you'll stick to the shoes.
Yes.
Yeah. Steve, let's talk about COVID.
Let's
we went
talk
through
about
it together. You know, we closed the office for some period of time, and we went kind of hybrid for a while.
It was really.
And we closed our stores. You know,
Yes.
so now we're back. And how do you think
These
things?
these are my COVID boots. Here.
Oh wow! What makes them COVID boots?
And I used to wear them all the time. I just wore one.
Yeah, did you
I
Clorox
just kind of
them?
went back to these.
Are they like all Cloroxed? And,
It was an amazing. It was really something that I thought I would never see in my life. You know, it was just so incredible. And how long ago was it? 4 years ago,
Yeah,
right? It seemed
yeah.
like it wasn't that long ago.
I know, because you kind of still feel like you're in it sometimes in some ways.
That was an example in my company. Like I was home, like, you know, UPS boxes coming. I'm like kicking the boxes with my foot. I'm afraid to touch anything.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die, and the company carried on. You know, and they did great, and our internet business exploded, and really had very little to do with that. You know, it was just a great company that I built, and you know, I'd be home, you know, like looking out through the windows, and you know, we survived. Actually, our company got
thrived.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yes, and we made a lot of money.
So did you?
Yeah.
So do you think that the workplace has permanently changed?
Yes, it has. It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
You know, we're at 4 days a week. We were at 3 days a week. We're at 4 days a week. I don't think it'll ever really come back. You know, and I have different days. I have different thoughts about it, but
you've gotten used to it.
I'm used to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
I know you're a very tactile person. You know, you like to look at a product.
Very
you like to have the
tactile,
team in the
yes.
office to look at a shoe.
Yes.
How have you kind of adapted there? Are you using like FaceTime, or are you just still having your meetings on the days you're in and doing
Well, we
different
try
things?
we still nip in on a Friday every once in a while, but it, you know, for me, my work and mostly my work and my life are really one. You know, everything is, although it changed when I had children, so that's not work, you know, although it's more work.
Sometimes
But everything that I do is
connected to it.
Yes. Everything I do. So I don't even know what we're talking
We're
about.
talking about
we're talking about COVID.
and,
Yeah.
and how you work.
Oh
yeah.
God, COVID. Jesus. You know, one of my first employee died of COVID, and he texted me when he was going onto the ventilator. Oh God, it was so horrible, and we were close, and it was just, I'm like, holy shit, this is so, wow.
It was different in the early days.
Just
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And so it was really something, and I really thought that I was going to get it, and
Because that was scary. He was someone
Yeah.
who meant a lot to you. You know, he's,
Yeah,
he's
but-
in the documentary. Yeah, he drove Steve everywhere.
yeah,
And yeah.
and but it's over.
yeah,
It is over, and we've gotten through it,
we
and
moved on.
but a lot of people died, and anyway,
Yeah.
it was something. But our company grew through that, and it has changed everything.
Right. It's a bonding experience too, you know, to go through something like that with
Yeah.
people, and then, you know, coming out the other side and all, you know, you feel differently about your colleagues, I think, afterwards. Once you get through something like that.
Yeah, and you feel different about germs,
Oh yeah. Oh, forget it. I'm not.
right?
I'm like, yeah,
Like,
I'm like
yeah.
spraying away. Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's not easy. All right, on to a less germy topic. How do you keep up with the fast-paced nature of the fashion industry? Are you on TikTok? Are you on? I don't even know what social media. I'm too old to understand the social media.
I am on TikTok. I love TikTok.
Yeah. What do you like about it? It's good for ADD, right? It's like.
It is
it's
good
like,
for
yeah.
ADD. I love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to do now. It really is. I love it so much. At night, instead of putting on the TV, I put on TikTok, and I'm just sort of like
Are you doing
cozy
it for
in
fun?
bed.
Or are you doing it for work? A mix of.
So it
the
has
two?
everything, you know.
Yeah.
For my thing, it's got fashion, it's got politics, it's got golf.
Yeah.
You know, I got
So you think the algorithm understands you?
my algorithm.
Yeah,
is
mine doesn't understand me.
perfect.
Forget it. I get the weirdest stuff.
You know, I just love it.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I like YouTube also. Mm-hmm. And
Do you still go sit in like Nordstrom and look at people's shoes?
I do.
How
I
often?
do.
Like, where can people find you on a Tuesday?
I do. I mean, it sounds creepy. It
You don't
really
know.
does.
You know. That's
So we always say, you know, I have a thing, and I was really used to go up to women. Where did you get that shoe? It's amazing. But as I've gotten older, it's creepier. You know, it's like I have to like, oh please, I'm in the business. I just, you know, I've like been driving and pulled the car over. Where'd you get those? You know.
What draws your attention? Like, what do you see? Like,
I've always just been looking at shoes because
But like,
you know,
which one? Like, how? Like, what makes you stop and pull over? Like, what is it you see about
it's
it?
a certain
Just something.
sort of, you know, je ne sais quoi. You know, the way the shoes and the clothes flow together. You never know where you're going to get an idea, and a lot of ideas do come from, you know, seeing it out there.
Have you ever taken a shoe off a person's foot?
No, but I
Yeah.
do actually steal a lot of styles.
I can't speak to that.
You know,
Attorney-client
I nick a
privilege.
few.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But we do. You know, but I just figure I'd get it out there, man.
Yeah. Well, how do you balance that? How do you balance me and your ear
Being
saying,
creative and then
me saying, Steve,
stealing
can't
from
do that.
Gucci?
Yeah, exactly.
I always say Steve Madden is like a big stew, and we mix it all up with $1,200 shoes and designs and seeing something and seeing a video and boom,
You put it all
and
into
out it
something.
comes. Yeah, that's how it works.
Well, I think what people lose sight of is like even the so-called luxury brands, they're all copying each other too. You see those
They
lawsuits
are.
all the time.
That's a very good point.
I mean,
Yes.
it's hard to be original. It's a shoe.
Well, yes.
There's as you IP lawyers know, there's aspects to the shoe that are functional and you can't protect those, and there's things that are ornamental and you can't protect those. And when you break it down, it's really hard to protect a lot of these
That
elements.
shoe that you're wearing is this.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Yep.
That's a shoe that I took from somebody else.
Yes, I know.
I'm doing so great, but I give money to charity.
He balances it out,
I
He
do.
gives to
Our
charity.
side.
He'd
Yeah.
rather pay them than
Yeah,
pay these
yeah.
guys. So.
Yes, right? We do.
But it's a big one for me.
It's a great shoe.
Yes, I don't know who the original guy is.
But that kind of goes back to this
help
democratization of
myself.
fashion concept that we started with. It's like not everybody can afford a $500 shoe, right? So how do you decide, where to draw the line, And I think
Right.
that's what we try to work out together. We don't always agree, but we try to come to a place that we think is the right thing to do. And, these things are very hard to protect. I do think design patents have made it very
I wish I
complicated.
could get the hook now and pull her. Can we do that?
Okay. All right. What else you got?
Yeah. Well, Steve, is there anything that
Yes.
I haven't talked about that you think you want to say to the students of Cardozo before we open it up for questions?
Oh my God, yes. That's an interesting question.
Any advice for young people, entrepreneurship, what you see as the future of the company or
Well,
fashion?
I usually say this to business kids. This is different. You guys have already sort of chosen a path. And but I would say the one sort of thing that sticks with me is to learn the craft. And I just so many times I'll go to Tulane or to Howard University or wherever. Everybody wants to go into business like when they're 22.
Yeah.
I made this sneaker and I'm gonna, and they don't know anything, and
Got to take your time.
you really got to learn, and then if that's, well, let's just say in the case of you guys, if you wanted to be in private practice, but it would be great to work at a great law firm for a bunch of years, or work for a small law firm and really learn the daily grind.
There's
of
no
what it is-
shortcuts.
The daily grind of what it is to be a lawyer, to be a good lawyer. That's invaluable. And I think that a lot of people don't do that. It seems to me that they're not doing it.
They want to skip to the good part.
Yes, and well, there may not be a good part.
Okay, well, true.
But
you hope there's a good part.
I started as a, I didn't plan it this way, but I started as a stock boy, literally sweeping a basement. It's like, and then I went up to the floor. They let me sell shoes, and then I did this. So by the time I went into my own business, which was I was 30 or 31 or something, I had done every job in the shoe business, and logged in time in stores, and listening to what women want.
And you learn.
Yes.
I love that.
I'm still learning that.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the goal?
Yes.
Yeah, to still be learning. I love that. So I guess
Should
we'll
we do
open this
some
up.
questions?
Yeah, let's do some Q&A.
Yes.
Do we just
How do we
pick?
do it today?
Yeah, are
You
we
just
picking? Are
stand?
you
You wanna
picking?
stand?
Yeah.
Is that embarrassing? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and a microphone.
Okay, good. I like it.
Hi, I'm Lexi Silverman. I'm a 1L.
What's that mean, 1L?
First year of law school.
First year.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And I was wondering, I guess, with the way that the world is working with like the metaverse and like virtual reality, like
Oh my God. Yeah.
how is like Steve Madden going to? Are they going to like incorporate like in that world and like kind of keep up with all the new changing technologies?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we're doing that, we're investing a lot of money in that, and we're just kind of beginning with the metaverse. And you know, the store, the bricks and mortar, they call it bricks and mortar store, is really dead. You know, it's sad. That is terrible. Like, there's nothing like a great shoe store. It's like the greatest thing in the world, but it's like, oh God, it's over. You know, it's so sad, but.
Yeah, we had that big campaign a couple of years ago with the Maddenverse, and we had
The
like the
Maddenverse,
virtual
yes.
try-on features and
Yes.
stuff like that. So we dipped our toes in it.
But you can never stop because it just keeps going. TikTok is really big. Did I mention that before? Yes. Okay. Yes. Who's got a question?
Hi, I'm Deborah Perez. Lisa kind of already touched on this regarding, I guess, dupes. But my question is really about dupes. Like, in this day and age, I feel like there's a dupe for everything. Like, there's like a mimic of everything and whatnot. How do you protect the Steve Madden brand? Like, how do you, like, I guess aside from the price, how do you set yourself apart from that?
Can I answer
Yeah,
that?
I'd like you to answer
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. No, because you're good. You're the one that does it. We are copied more than anybody in the shoe business. Now, you know, I nick the odd Hermes or whatever shoe.
You might
every
have to
once
make
in
a
while.
Birkin, you know.
But
Yeah.
we are copied more than anybody. I don't want to insult anybody, but I mean, there's a big market in China. You know, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
I love Chinese,
Right,
and I
right.
love Chinese food too.
Yes,
so.
yes.
But
big fan.
I couldn't resist that.
We
but I
made it a
do.
long
I
time,
do. We make
you
a
know?
lot of shoes in
Yeah.
China. We make shoes all over the world. But they copy me in China like you have no idea. It is the craziest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have stores in California where they just come in waves and they buy all our shoes. It's amazing. And the answer to your question is, I love that I'm being copied. I know that I'm doing something right. So
and everybody else should love being copied too, and then we could all just live in peace.
Well, not everybody's like
Yeah.
me, but I really do. If I wasn't being copied,
imitation
I'd be
is the
nervous.
highest form of flattery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else we got here? There he is.
Hi. I'm just really curious about whether your company has plans to address climate change. A lot of people would say that your company is a fast fashion brand, and
Right.
I would like to know if you have any goals to reduce your carbon footprint and, reduce water use and that kind of thing.
It's tough. It's a tough thing. We do think about it, but we don't do anything about it. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
No, our head of sustainability is here tonight. You can
I
talk
swear
to
to
him
God,
at the.
I've cut down
yeah.
on flying. I don't fly as private as much, as I used to. But it is not a joke. It's real.
We're
It
incorporating a lot of environmentally preferred materials into our products.
It is a real thing.
Yes, we have, we're looking at our whole carbon footprint. Every brand has to, especially public
Yes.
companies. We have a whole department at the company
Yes.
that works on these issues, but it's not
I'm going to get a
under
smaller
Steve's purview.
plane.
So we're,
Private plane.
yeah.
I did, because I'm it's,
Yeah.
I can't help myself. We do think about it, and we do a lot of stuff in the company, and we can tell you more about it because we have our
Because Greg's right here.
head of it over here, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
like when I get water, it's in paper now, and
We're trying to recycle samples.
and we use some materials that are a little bit friendlier to the earth, and but I'm supposed to. That's the challenge, I really got to just make hot shoes. It's hard to, take on all that. It's a bit much, but that's why,
That's why you use other people to
That's right.
try to make them do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We do have to do that.
Hi, I'm Polina. I'm a 3L. I am curious to know a bit more about how the two of you collaborate and specifically on what kinds of issues you work together on, like what kinds of things are coming up most often.
So we can play act one.
Yeah.
We can do it.
I think that would be
She can
great.
say,
I see him in the hallway. He says, "You."
Don't do 3 stripes. Do 2 stripes.
Don't do anything.
Something like that. But you know, I mean, it's a we got a lot of businesses. We have big businesses with Walmart and Target, not Steve Madden, but other businesses. And, you know, we're always faced with, this looks like this. And so we try to work, you know, maybe if we're acknowledge it and work with the offended party, or we try not to do it as much as we can. Adidas, speaking of 3 stripes, you know, they patented 5 stripes.
They're very aggressive. Yeah, they're very, very aggressive, and it's hard to do really anything because they think if you have 3 stripes, it could be seen as, you know, if you have 4 stripes, then the in between makes 3 stripes, and if you have 2 stripes, and you look at the negative space, that makes 3. It like
they did 2 stripes. We do 2 stripes.
Contorts the brain, you know.
Do we do 2 stripes?
You can't do 2 stripes.
I think we do 2
Well,
stripes.
you only do 2 stripes if they're touching.
I see.
Yeah, I see.
You see that
So
arcane nature of it.
Yeah. But
I think we did 5 stripes. Did we do 5 stripes?
You can do 5 stripes until someone else gets.
I think I had a men's shoe with 5 stripes. It was great.
Yeah, it's a rainbow.
It was one of my first men's shoes.
Yeah.
It was like a bowling shoe with 5 stripes.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
It was really good.
You know, I think
I
the
should have
thing I
worn
would
it.
say is that, you know, when you're a lawyer and you work at a firm, you could be really kind of textbook and write a memo and do all of those things, right? And someone will pay you $1,000 an hour to do it for some reason. But when you work at a company, you have to be very practical. And I think the way that Steve and I collaborate is that he knows if I think this anyway, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think if I come to Steve, he knows that I'm coming to him because it's important. Because I don't come to him about every stupid thing that happens. You know, so if I'm coming in and saying I'm really worried about this shoe or about this employee or about this or that, you know, I think he knows that he sort of has to at least listen, even if he doesn't agree with me, because I don't do it every day, you know. And I think if I came in every day complaining about something, the door would kind of get shut, you know. So I think you have to sort of know when to pick your battles, and that's true of any company, you know, because nobody wants to just hear lawyers every day complaining and saying, no, it's just not effective.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yes.
You guys have the mic.
Yeah,
just testing it. Yeah. So I was curious if you still talk to your old pal Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street.
You know, I could see that you're a funny guy there with the hair and everything that I asked him nutty. No, I don't. But we're okay. Everybody's okay, and he's good, I guess. And I'm good.
We wish him well.
And that's it. Yeah. It was a good film, though. Didn't you like the film?
Do you think that the Hoffman kid is anything like Steve?
Yeah.
No, not at all, right?
It was a good movie.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, it was a good movie. We're trying to make a movie, too. We'll let you know.
Maybe he could be in it.
Yes,
you know? We
there's
like
somebody
the hair.
over here.
Yeah.
Hi. Usually greed. But what do you mean, actually?
Like when you, like her shoe, like I very much know what other shoe that is and what gave you the, like.
What made me do it?
Yeah.
Besides greed. You know, it was just such a great shoe. I thought, I've got to bring that to my customers. I have a duty to bring that.
That's right. I mean, because you're democratizing
It was a
fashion.
solemn oath that I made.
That's it.
No, you just know the ones that would work. Not everything would work, but it's a big shoe, very big, great shoe, that one.
All right, let's get off this shoe. Go ahead.
So
yeah.
Thanks for coming, Steve. So for you, it was women's shoes, but today what's extremely popular is like men's sneakers. Like the sneaker community is just huge, and I'm just wondering, like, do you take inspiration from that? Are you tapped into that sort of, sphere?
What are you asking me?
Men's
No, tell me what you're asking me.
I'm asking you if you pay attention to like the sneaker market. I mean, the sneaker community has exploded.
I don't wear sneakers. I never wear sneakers, ever. I hate sneakers, personally. Now, for men's shoes, look, sneakers are a fact of life. Probably, everybody wears sneakers all the time. So when I say I hate sneakers, thank God I got people that like sneakers in my company. The kind of men's shoes that I wear are different, than that.
and it's tough because the big boys in sneakers do such a great job, and so. But we do some things like that aren't quite exactly sneakers. I'm just really not into it. I know that it's a big deal, but kind of men's shoes I do are much different. It's a different kind of feel, our men's business.
Right.
It's a little bit less trendy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Hey, Steve, thanks for coming also. So I have actually a lot of family in the shoe business. My grandfather knows you from way back when. It's a fast fashion business. So how do you guys deal with all the IP stuff? You have styles that are going. They're in for a month. They're in for a few months even. A lot of times it's not worth pursuing. How does the industry deal with that?
Worth pursuing like on our end, like going after people copying us, or worth pursuing that like people suing us, or
both.
Yeah.
Both. I want to know just how the industry
answer
deals
that.
with it both ways.
Yeah, listen, I think that if we are sued over a style that we're doing, we have to make a decision as to whether or not we're going to fight it or settle, move away from the shoe. I think we have a business that we have so many styles and so many shoes at any given time that it's easy to move away from certain things if it's just not selling for us anyway and someone comes after us. A lot of things we just sort of drop. And most people will most brands will not pursue it once you've sort of dropped the shoe. It just doesn't make sense for them, even financially, to pay attorney's fees. Luckily lawyers are very expensive, so nobody wants to pay for them, one way or the other. And so we're able to sort of just end a lot of things. And we have, what we call the test and react strategy. And so we can try something out, and if it doesn't sell, we can drop it. If we have a legal issue, we can drop it. If we're not going to go out of business by stopping one shoe, it doesn't matter to us. If it's like the shoe of the year for us, we might pursue the lawsuit. And you know what? A lot of times we've done pretty well in the lawsuits because these shoes are hard to protect. And it's not as hard, it can be hard to defend, but it can be just as hard to protect. There's a lot of overreaching, in my opinion, that goes on. We get letters from people or from brands. They don't even have a registration for anything. They're just like, hey, could you stop doing this shoe because we did it? And I'm like, but you have to have like a legally, protectable right that you're trying to protect. We're not going to just stop doing it to be nice guys. So, I think you have to balance everything. You have to have a good sense of it. Before I came to Steve Madden, I practiced on the other side of things. So I know all the tricks that are in the book. And, I know when someone's overreaching. We've had people send us letters and I look into it. Their application's been rejected on functional grounds, and yet they're trying to tell us they have a registration. I know how to Google and look at the internet, So, we can sort of figure out what we're doing. And, I don't think it's as clear cut as everybody thinks it is. I think that there's a lot of nuance to it. And, there's no good and bad guys in this. That's what I'll say.
Did that answer it?
Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. This has been such a fun event.
Glad to hear it.
I have, I guess, kind of an AI question. I know a lot of brands.
You're asking the wrong people. Go ahead.
I know a lot of brands have started using AI in the design process. Have you guys been doing that?
So
and they sue the AI person because then I'm into it.
People have brought me stuff. And I'm going to stay open-minded about it. My initial gut is that, it's not what we do. You know what I mean? I've seen it like, mix a Nike shoe, with a Steve Madden, and they come up with, it's interesting. It's not for me, It's not it's not for me. But who knows? I mean, I have to one must stay open to everything, but I prefer to, for me, I don't sort of fancy it. But I'm really like in the 8th inning, you know what I mean? Not to be all blue here.
Oh my God.
But I'm sort of
making me depressed.
I'm sort of on my way, to Boca, and so not really, I won't go to Boca. But I'm just saying, I have young kids, I can't leave. But, I don't like it. But I know it probably will be a way to make bottoms, maybe not the whole shoe. You have to stay open to this stuff. I mean, it's like
in the 20s, people would say, what do you think of, movies with sound? You know, and like some guy would say, oh,
Horrible
they'll never
idea.
make it. That kind of thing. So you don't want to be that guy, right? So everything keeps moving, right?
Yeah.
You got to get used to it.
Got to get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We have one more?
One more.
This fellow here. I have to say that I've done a lot of these. That is the greatest question that anybody's ever asked me.
Very nice.
I want to say,
Yeah.
it really is. It's so good. And I will. As you were saying it, I thought to myself, you got to delegate what you don't know how to do. So for me, well, it was easy for me because I don't know how to do anything but make shoes. I really am so weak in so many areas. I'll tell you the truth. If you gave me a piece of paper and you said, here, put it on your desk, if you came back for that paper, it would be gone. You would not be able to find it. It would be lost. And so I'm not organized. And, I don't have any, sort of financial sort of acumen, although I've made a ton of money. but I don't really, I'm not very sophisticated. So I was able to okay, the finance, boom, you take that. Tech, you do that. No, we have whole computers, and we're really at the cutting edge of direct marketing, and so that was what I did right away. So it worked. So that's what I would tell you. But you got to know what you don't know.
That's important.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sign of intelligence.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, thanks everyone so much for coming.
Okay.
We
Great.
had a lot of fun.
Great.
Thank you, Steve. You were really awesome.
It's great.
Don't move to Boca just yet, okay?
Not yet.
All right.